Well, the old workshop, ATIH, Awakening the Illuminated Heart, that workshop is complete. It is totally complete all the way. You don't have to know anything else. You can just move down that pathway and do the last 90-degree turn, and it'll work. But life has stepped in, and they said, okay, you've done that, but there's more possible, and since we have the time, let's go for it. And basically that's what was told to me. And so slowly I began to realize what this new work was. It's something we all know in our hearts what it is, that all life everywhere is interconnected and already communicating with itself and everything else. So it's just another opportunity, and it isn't really for everyone. It's for certain people, and they know it in their hearts if they're those people. And so if you're an ATIH student and you've got this ATIH completely down and you're comfortable with that, okay, you don't have to go any further. But if you really want to, if you've got a passion and you see that there's more and you want to go there, this is incredible. This is the most amazing work that I have ever participated in my life. And now that I see where it's evolving and where it's moving to, I can't tell you, I am so excited I can hardly stand this. Because this is like when the angels first came to me in 1971 and started teaching me the Merkaba. I was just practically levitating all the time. I was so excited. But as the years have gone by, that's now part of my life. It's just natural for me. But now, a whole new level that I didn't know existed there, and I don't think hardly anyone knew existed, is being revealed. And there are two groups in the world that know this work, and only two that I'm aware of, and that is the Tibetan Buddhists in Tibet, and they understand this work very well, and though they keep it incredibly secret, you don't get it in their works, in their books, or anything. What we're talking about here, they know what I'm talking about, but they're not going to tell you what it is. And but there's another group, and that is the Kogi and the Awakos in Colombia. They have about 200 people that are living inside of caves and mountains that they float off the ground and glow in the dark, and they know this work also. And both of these groups, and it's the same way with the Tibetans, they also have, I don't know, quite a few, it's probably thousands of them, living inside caves right now that are also floating off the ground and glowing in the dark because they know this work also. And so both of these groups have told me that they will help me to understand what this is. And I also have Thoth has come back in, which she's at, and he wants to help us understand this. They realize, they all realize that this is huge. This is a step that humankind has just barely taken ever since their DNA began. And so we are learning something from a human perspective of how to do this. And then at the same time as all this is happening, science is approaching the same point of view that the Kogi and the Awakos and the Tibetans are coming up with. And what they see is what science is now beginning to see. And so everything that we do in this new work, we have science to back us up, to show you that these things aren't outrageous, they're really true. And so to me, if you're excited about life and you want to go further than what it is, this is awesome. It truly, truly is on every level. Now, for the people that have been there the first 3 times, the first one wasn't very good because we were just learning. The second one was much better, and the third one was far more refined. This one is going to have a whole new body of information introduced into it that I had no idea this stuff existed. Well, initially I thought they were two completely different bodies of work. What is becoming clear now is that it is not true. that in order to actually do this new work, you have to know the ATIH understanding, the beams of light and that tiny space of the heart and how all these things work. It's not an option. It's absolutely, you have to know. And we found that out in the very first workshop because we opened it up to ATIH people, but to other disciplines, figuring that they would know enough to be able to do this too. It didn't work. The people that did not know the ATIH work were not able to do this work. And so that's when the second one we made it so that it had to be a prerequisite that you were in there. And now, after months have gone by, we know that it's more than just, it requires you to know these other things actually to be able to do all this work. I really want them to know and understand the ATIH work. It's crucial. And once they understand that, for them, this next step is relatively easy. It's harder than the first one. It is a more expanded view of everything than what was taught through that. But people, it's like I said, this is really only for a few people in the world. It's clear that the most of the world will never understand this or never reach this level of consciousness. But for the people that are in the 14,000 people or so that are in the School of Remembering, I believe almost all of them can understand this. If they can understand that at work, they can get to this one too. And with the new understandings that were coming up now from things that are just, I mean, I don't care who you are. This is amazing. What is being presented in this workshop now. Heart math comes in for the first day, and we begin to learn how to link our fields and our magnetic fields with another person. Then Claudette comes in behind that, and for one full day begins to show you the female way of perceiving that same kind of information. And then I come back in on the third day, and we complete the biomagnetic fields, and we show you how to link your biomagnetic field with another person with the entire Earth's magnetic field. And that has scientifically been documented by heart math that you can do that. So it is not something somebody's just making up and maybe it's true or not. It's actually true, and you really can. Once you know how to link with the Earth's magnetic field and then to the unity grid, and you're connected to the consciousness, and you're connected literally to every single living thing on Earth, not just humans, but all life. And it begins to change who you are and how you perceive everything. But that's only the beginning, because once you understand the new science, which comes in toward the middle of the third day, and we go into all these new ways of perceiving, and further on the fourth day, we bring in people's work that are so incredible that I never even knew. A man named like Marco Rodin, who has created a coil. It's called the Rodin coil. And this coil is outperforming every single coil on Earth by more than 60%. And what it is we have the same thing within us. We have a Rodin coil within us. We are a Rodin coil. And what Rodin speaks about is when you get into this pattern, it goes into superconductivity. It'll never, the breath or the energy that you're moving never stops. And these are things that people have dreamed about that are now becoming reality. This is incredible. The Merkaba definitely does, because we're going to take the Merkaba that we know in our ATIH work and expand that to something that is not in any of the books or anything else. We're going to take it out to where it really is, and how you can activate all these inner things with even your sphere that's out at about 30 feet around you, not just the Leonardo sphere. There's all these other aspects around us, and when they're linked, you then really are in position to take a jump beyond humankind. And I think we know how to do this now. The rodent coil, by the way, is based on, though he doesn't see it exactly this way, but it is based on the Enneagram, Gurdjieff's work. And Gurdjieff thought that this work was based only on sound. And so Nicole and all these other authors that were written his work, they got encyclopedias on this stuff. And nowhere in there is there any discussion that you could use electricity to do this with. The rodent coil can take a spark and turn it into a huge amount of energy. And that is the key to us, because we're going to be looking into the heavens and seeing how what are now called Birkeland currents that are moving extremely fast around the universe and are connecting communication with all life everywhere, These things were only dreams in our hearts, but are now technically true. And we can begin to work on these levels. But when all this comes down, it's ultimately, what the ultimate end of this is, who can say right now? This is way too big. We're talking about something of becoming the universe, connected to it in all ways. And so obviously that's way beyond human consciousness. And what it really means ultimately, I don't think I could say that either. But this is one big step. This is something that has, a few people on Earth has been doing this for a couple thousand years or so, but no one has ever done it and brought it out into the world. They've hidden it. They've kept it in mountains and not let anybody seen this. Though they're now allowing people to see some. The Tibetans are. They're now allowing you to see them floating off the ground and beginning to do these things. And so they're allowing this to happen. It's perfect timing for us. The cosmic grace, returning to source, is exactly that. It's cosmic grace because the universe, when you make these connections, begins to support you as an individual in a way. It's a whole new way to exist. And returning to source is exactly what happens in this. We're going to begin to do what you see huge things in space do. Supernovas where they're exploding and these huge plasma fields go out. Or like the Earth itself, when the CME comes from the sun, she connects with that, and you have these aurora borealis and aurora australis coming out the bottom, these big circles of plasma coming out the Earth of the sun, of the poles of the sun. We can do the same thing. We can stream plasma also. And in connecting in the same way that the Earth connects with the sun, we can connect with the entire universe in the same exact way. And again, I can't tell you what that actually means or what it's going to mean in the long term for humankind. But I can tell you, again, just even knowing the information will change you without even doing any of the meditations, which will definitely change you. And so I'm very confident in where we're going in all of this, and I'm very confident how science has backed up everything that we're talking about. And so this is, to me, this is the most important workshop I have ever given in my life. Well, the workshop is March 9th through the 13th, and it is going to be given in a living situation here in Sedona at this Creative Life Center, that is totally full right now. But we also are going to give it to you online. And so you can come in and get this directly into your house, and you can see and experience everything. You can text in to give questions, etc. And it will count also if you intend, if you're a teacher of the ATIH right now and you want to become a teacher of this workshop, even online, will count as a workshop toward that becoming a teacher. Well, the last time we did this was in June of 2014, and we live streamed this out to the world, to 1,300 people. And the response from that was awesome. It really, really was. People got very excited because they could feel it, they could see what this was, and like I said, just knowing the information is incredible. Forgetting about actually internalizing it and making it real through meditation. And so the feedback from those 1,300 people it made us very happy because it was just overwhelmingly positive. Really, in my life, like I've said, this is the most exciting thing I've ever been involved in my life, and I can't even imagine anything where this can go beyond this. And so I think that this is really relevant for anyone who has taken ATIH, because if you've got to that level, the next level is easy from here, and so just go in your heart, find out if your heart tells you this is the right thing to do, and if it is, do it, because you're going to be happy. And thank you for asking these questions.